Good morning, students. How are you all? Hope everyone are doing good. Today, we will see another lesson in Science 2. Okay? So here, so far we have completed like two lessons. Yes? Lesson 2 and lesson 3. Yes, reproduction in plants and then classification of animals. Now this lesson is somewhere related to already learnt concept, but it's in animals. Okay, so shall we all get into the lesson to see what it is exactly? Yeah. The lesson name is reproduction in animals. So the first lesson what we learned was reproduction in plants. Yes, how the plants was reproducing itself to make more in numbers, to produce exactly the same variety. So here we're gonna learn in animals how the reproductions are happening. So if you're gonna look at the background here, the backdrop picture, see there is a dog seated and many tiny ones are seated here. Yes, we call them puppies. So the matured one we call dog, but all are of same variety. But we have a different name for them, like puppies. Yes. So these kind of differences we'll be learning, all right, in different categories, how they are produced. All right. So there are certain things to learn in this lesson. Let's see what it is. Types of reproduction. So the reproduction is not of one process. Yes, so here it gives an idea that it is of many types. All right, next, animals that lay eggs. Okay, so one of the type is like animals that lay eggs. So here comes the answer for the first one. And then life cycle of butterfly and frog. Okay, what happens to the butterfly right from its birth, how it is originated, and then how it is turned as a butterfly. It's gonna be the same for the frog, how the frog is getting formed. All right, that is the life cycle, the entire process of the butterfly and frog. Next, animals that give birth to babies. Okay, so here we saw like lay eggs and here giving birth. So they are two different processes. All right, we will discuss in detail. Taking care of young ones. So once after giving birth, what it has to be done, they should take care of it. All right, so these are like different processes in for the reproduction in animals. So let us get into the lesson and learn things in detail. Yeah. Now, as a part of a recap, here some pictures are given there in your textbook. This is a picture I have just took from your textbook. Okay, so those who have your textbook, you can have it as a reference and do the activity. Others, no problem. Just write it down so that whenever you get it, you can just write it in your textbook. Some pictures of the animals with their babies are given below. Write the names of the baby animals. Okay, so here uh, the parent is given, okay, the horse, and it has its baby nearby. Yes, so how do we call the baby? Do we say baby horse? No, they all have different name. So what do you call the younger one of the horse? And here let's do it as an activity. All right, so what I want you to do is just pause the video here, okay, and then try to find the answers, fill it up, and then we will just, yeah, I will definitely give you an answer in few seconds, but I just want you to pause it here and work on it. Okay, try to find yourself and then we will discuss it here. Okay, pause it. Okay, let me gonna discuss the answer here. Okay, the first one, the answer will be, wait, let me take a pen. The answer will be foal. Okay, Foal. Okay, if it is gonna be a male. And there is also another name like colt. Okay, or colt, Colt. Else if it is gonna be a female, it is called as filly, Filly. So I'm just using this pen Please don't bother about this handwriting. Hope you understand this. Okay. Next, here we see a cat. Okay, so this is a parent, the mother cat. And what is this called? Is it the same? No, it is called as kitten. Kitten. All right. Next, this is hen. And what are the younger ones of hen called? Chick. Yes, we have chicken always. Yes. Oh, this is chick. That's it. Chick. Next, this is duck. And the younger one, it is called as duckling. Duckling. Next, this is kangaroo. And the younger one of kangaroo is called as joeys. Joey. Yes. They think this is horrible. Yes. Joeys. All right. And here, this is a frog, and the younger one of frog. See, entirely it looks different, right? It doesn't have any similarities, but at least here we can see some similarities, the younger ones. It is entirely different, and we call it to be as tadpole. 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 Okay. So I will spell it again. It's FOAL or COLT. If it is a female, it's filly, FILLY. Here, the younger one, it's kitten, KITTEN. And here it's chick, CHICK. Here it's duckling, DUCKLING. Here it's joeys, JOES. And then here it's tadpole, TADPOLE. Alright? Let's see the types of reproduction. So already I have said what is reproduction all about. Okay, whenever something has to be reproduced of its own kind, then it is called as reproduction. Okay, producing, it's something we are just getting produced for the first time. And whenever it is keep on repeating the same in order to increase its productivity, then we call it as reproduction. So here we are dealing with living organisms. So right from the day one God created the world, it is not the same amount. Yes, we have increased a lot in everything. Not only human beings, even the animals. Yes. So any variety of living organisms, it could be like the plants or animals or any kind. It is not the same as the day one God created. Everything has been changed. It has been reproduced. Whatever reproduced has been lived long, and then it died, and then many changes have happened. So here we're gonna discuss about like two types of reproduction. One is by laying eggs. Okay, so one such example which we can take is the very common thing always on day-to-day life, we are taking it as a food. It is eggs, which is laid by hens. Okay, so these eggs, the eggs that we have on a day-to-day life or anything, okay, so even as a side dish or as a part of the food, morning breakfast some used to take, is because it's highly rich in protein. Here, hen produces eggs, okay, and many birds produces eggs, but we consume hen's egg as a common food material. Okay, so we will also discuss about it. All right, and the next one is by giving birth to babies. Yes, so you can see birds give birth by laying eggs. Yes, so the next generation is produced from the eggs. It just lays the eggs and certain processes happen. From that, the newborns come out. Alright, so we don't define it to be as a birth, but still, we just say they lay eggs in order to reproduce. But here, some animals, they cannot lay eggs. They will have to give birth to the babies, just like the normal one. Okay, so one such example which I've given is like human beings. We Okay, Homo sapiens. So here we give birth to the babies. Have you ever heard anyone laid eggs and human coming out of eggs? No, definitely not, right? So here human being as well as certain animals, you might have seen, if you have a dog at your home, you can see it gives birth to the younger one, which we call them as puppies. If it is gonna be a cat you have, then it is kittens. Yes. So certain varieties, certain categories of living organisms go on by reproducing through birth. Okay, they give birth to the babies. So this is what we're gonna see in the lesson right now. Look at this picture. So on looking at this picture, so I just want to explain you certain thing. See here, the first picture, it is a hen, and the younger one of the hen, it is chick. Yes, but it just looks like its parent, but only certain body parts has to get matured as it grows. But when we see this chick, we can definitely identify it is the baby of a hen. Yes. So here, butterfly. And what is this worm? Okay, do you see any similarity between this butterfly and this worm? We call it to be as what, caterpillar. Yes, it just looks like a worm. Okay, so is there any similarity in this? No way. So there are two different categories which we're gonna see. Like some animal babies look similar to their parent when they are born. Yes, just like this hen. And we ourselves, we just look, well, immediately when there is a baby is born. What do they see? Well, what do they ask? They will come and ask, oh, whether this eyebrow looks like its mom or this lips look like its father. Okay, so this is how we will just define, oh, she or he is definitely looking like his grandfather. All the features are alike. So somewhere the newborn is alike to their parent. And in certain categories, here it is just a category over here. The next category is some animal babies look different to their parents when they are born, but as they grow, they will resemble the adult. All right. So what happens here? This caterpillar, as they grow during the development process, everything gets changed. And they finally come out in flying colors, which we call them as an insect named butterfly. Okay, so this is how the butterfly will look like at its younger stage. Okay, so the caterpillar is not a different category and the butterfly is not a different category. The caterpillar, as through its development, it's changed as butterfly. So the butterfly comes through the process of caterpillar's development stages. All right, and now we will see about each and everything how it is getting changed. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. Now we're gonna look about animals that lay eggs. So you can see different varieties of pictures I have attached here. Everything comes under the category of animals. All right. So here it's not only the bird, even we human beings fall under animal category. We are categorized under animal kingdom. There is no separate kingdom. So in your higher classes you will learn about like kingdom, phylum, many things are there yet to learn in classification. Okay, so here we fall under animal categories. All right, now the first picture, it is birds. Birds reproduce by laying eggs. And then reptiles, they also reproduce by laying eggs. So birds, all category of birds. And reptiles, can you name some, like snakes, crocodile, turtles? Yes, we did learn about all these organisms in previous lesson, about reptiles in details and the characteristics, right? And then here comes the amphibians. See, even amphibians lays eggs, and that is how they reproduce. And see this, like jelly like substances look beautiful, right? And what is this? This is the eggs of frogs. Let me point it. So these are the eggs of frogs. It looks beautiful, right? And they have picturized it very well. And amphibians, not only the frog, all the amphibian categories reproduce by laying eggs. And the next one here, insects. Okay, here I have just given this picture for the clarity. All right, so see how it lays eggs. Cockroach lay eggs, mosquitoes lay eggs. Yes, you might have seen that in some particular places. If you are not using for a very long time, you can see some small white spots over there. It is nothing but the mosquitoes have laid their eggs. So you should not keep your hand directly. If you have kept it, you should wash it immediately. All right, and be safer. So here what it is given, these eggs need to be kept warm till they hatch. So these animals, they will not just hatch the eggs, okay, I mean like lay the eggs, and they will not fly off or they will not move away from that particular place. They take their responsibility so that the eggs are hatched properly. In order to hatch it, hatching in sense, the proper care has to be taken so that the egg is developed inside. Okay, so what happens whenever you just break a egg, a hen's egg, whenever we get, when you break up what, we just prepare an omelette, right? Can you see anything over there? Nothing you can see. You can see only the yellow yolk, okay, and then the white albumin. Only these two things you can categorize in the egg. You cannot see any kind of features that belongs to a chick. Okay, so this is how the body will prepare and they will lay the egg. Okay, and then after laying the egg, they have to take a proper care at the proper temperature. Only then the body parts inside it will get formed properly. Okay, so this is how they are formed inside the egg, and once it is completely matured, then they will try to hatch out of it. It will come out of it. All right. What do you look at the picture over here? Yes, it is all eggs, right? The brown egg as well as the white egg. Yes, this is what we have always in common in our food that we are included on our dietary products. Yes, so here we're gonna discuss about the structure of an egg. Okay, so how does the egg look like? Generally, when we were at like in the kgs, okay, we have learnt about shapes. Yes, so the shape of the egg is oval. This is what we have taught. Yes, structure of an egg, it's oval in shape. That's it. But here we're gonna learn in depth what does this egg contains inside. All right, so here I'm just sharing you a picture. What does the egg contain? Okay, so here in your textbook, three major parts has been discussed. All right, and here there are many parts you can see which you will learn in your higher classes. Here let me discuss whatever it's given in your textbook and some more details on it. All right, now look at this outer one, which is called as a shell, egg shell. Okay, so everyone would have seen the egg, definitely 100%. Yes, so everyone likes omelette and different varieties of egg that we prepare from it. Yes, different varieties of food. Yep. So when you just break the egg, you can see the outer shell. Yes, definitely you might have seen that. Okay, and that is the hardest part actually. All right, only when you throw or when it is forced to break, it will break. Just like that, if you're just gonna keep it, it will not break. So it is just protected with a hard shell. Okay, and then inside the egg, this is a longitudinal section. They have just cut half into two, and this is how they have viewed it. This is how it is examined. All right, so when the egg is kept in this particular position, on the topmost layer you can see here germinal disc. Okay, the process begins here. All right, and here this whiter part we call them as albumin, and this albumin is also categorized into two types, which is thick albumin and thin albumin. Thick is nothing but the inner part, the outermost white is the thin albumin, and just beyond that, the innermost towards the yellow yolk, you can see the thick albumin, which is protecting the yellow yolk little bit to be in shape. All right, and then so that the organs will be protected. So this white, okay, whenever we boil the egg, it is just like that, the white in shape. Okay, white in color, so that is highly rich in protein. Okay, so you should not avoid it. So some may like the yellow yolk, some may like the white albumin, but you should not categorize like that. The whole part of the egg is highly nutritive, so that is how you have to consume it. So here, as a part of the reproduction, when you consume it as an egg, it doesn't form any organism. It is just the egg, that's it. Okay, later only it just gets into the process of development. All right, so this is white albumin, and here this is a yellow yolk. All right. And here, this air cell you can see. When you boil the egg, you can clearly see it. When you remove the shell, one part of the egg, you can find a smaller space with a thin layer on it. Okay, that is the air cell. Okay, so even the yellow yolk, it is also highly nutritious as this white contains the proteins. These yellow yolk contains many minerals, fats, and so many nutritive substances. So do not go with the myth behind it. All right, girls, boys, all these categories they used to say, but it doesn't go on like that. So it's everything is healthy and nutritious. Have an egg every day. All right, now look at this picture. See how many tiny creatures are sitting there inside this egg. So it is not a different eggs. It is a one egg. It undergoes the development on day wise. So it actually takes 21 days for the egg to be hatched. All right. So the egg has to be kept in a safer place. Okay, where the hen will take the responsibility to sit on top of that particular egg for 21 continuous days, so that the warmth is provided for the egg, and all these changes will happen inside the egg. Okay, so see here, the divisions of the cells takes place, and then the tiny parts are getting developed. So it doesn't look the same on the day 5, day 6, day 7. So every day it is getting developed. See here, and on the day 21 it gets hatched and it comes out as a beautiful chick. Yes, so the egg has to hatch by itself. Only then that particular bird or any organisms will have its strength for its survival. Now we will discuss about the life cycle of hen. Okay, chicken life cycle. So look at this picture. Do you get any idea about it? What it's gonna be like life cycle in sense right from the day one, how the organisms is formed to become an adult. That is called as an entire life cycle. All right. So here the hen, it lays the eggs, it gets developed. Okay, many stages of development it undergo, and then it comes out as a chick, and when it is grown, it is called as a hen. Okay, so here a detailed explanation is given in this diagram. See, look at this picture. There is an adult hen. Okay, and in this category itself, there is a female we call as hen and male we call as cock. Okay, cock cannot lay eggs. Only the female hen can lay eggs. Okay, but they are involved in the process of reproduction. All right. And now this adult hen will lay the eggs. Once after the process of fertilization it's get completed, they will lay the eggs. Okay, and this eggs, it will be taken care by the hen for 21 continuous days. Yes, I told you in the previous slide. Yes, for 21 days the hen will sit on top of this egg, and it will give the warmth for the tiny one to grow inside. So what is that creature that is growing inside called? When it is inside the egg, there is a name given for it, and we call it to be as embryo, the tiny one. Okay, so in this particular stage we call it to be a embryo until it is getting hatched. Okay, so once it is hatched out, we call it as like hatchlings. When it is the process of hatching, we call like hatchlings, and once it is hatched and completely out of the shell, we call them as chick. Okay, so this is how the entire life cycle of a chicken happens. The hen lays the egg, taken care by it, and when it is inside the egg it's called as an embryo, and then while hatching we call it as hatchlings, and then it is called as chick. Okay, even in your textbook there is a life cycle is given, and here with the names it is given. That is all the difference. All right, just have a reference of it. And once after this chick comes out, the hen will not just walk away. The hen will take the proper care for its younger one to grow, just like a mother. When the baby is born, what we will do? Definitely the mother will take care of the baby. Yes, so when you were born, did she leave it and she just went just like that? No, not at all. She took a proper care, and that is why you are being so cared till now. Yes, so you have everything properly organized in your life. So everything it's taken care by the parents. All right, and it is the same thing gonna be followed even for the animals and other organisms, but the certain categories will differ because we are humans, we analyze things, but for animals that is not gonna happen, but the care will be given for the younger ones as how we give. Okay. Now let us look about the life cycle of butterfly. Okay, so far we did see about hen. Okay, now let us see about butterfly. So a hen comes under the first category, like which the younger one look like their parents. But here the process is entirely different. Let's see how it differs. All right. So here you can see the adult butterfly. Yep. This adult butterfly usually it is very colorful. It looks bright and beautiful. Everyone likes to draw it, color it, and this is how we have seen it, right? And this comes under the category of insect. Butterfly is an insect. Okay. So here, this butterfly, once it is matured, and after the process of fertilization, it lays the eggs on the leaves. Okay, so the first stage is laying the eggs. So it reproduces. We did see about the insects, right? Which I told you already. It reproduces by laying eggs. So the eggs are laid down on the leaves right now. Then what happens? The whatever it hatches out of the egg, it should be another butterfly, right? But here, to the wonder, see, a caterpillar comes out of it. See how different it is, right? So, from the butterfly, it lays the eggs, and from the eggs, what it should come? Another butterfly should come. But here, in this case, it's not like that. Here, we see another creature, which we call them as caterpillar, is emerged out of that. Yep, and this caterpillar will feed on the leaves, mostly like mulberry leaves. All right, and it will just produce a kind of substance where it is fully surrounded by it. All right, and that particular condition, we call them as pupa. All right, we call them as what? Pupa, or we also call as chrysalis. Okay, chrysalises. All right, and here you can just remember it as pupa. Okay, that is more than enough. Okay, and this particular thing we can call this we can just get on to this pupa into like many different processes in preparation of like silk from this particular stage. All right, this is how it is involved in production of silk. And now learning about this cycle of butterfly, let me get back into the track here. What happens? This caterpillar, as it eats some mulberry leaves, it just produces a substance and is covered by a layer which we call them as pupa. Okay, it shreds its skin, and then after particular stages, what happens? The changes happens inside this pupa, and then it will shed all these things out, and a beautiful butterfly will come out of it. Okay, this is how the life cycle of a butterfly is getting completed. And here I will show you another picture where you can clearly see this process, whatever I'm explaining here. Okay, in the next slide. And here I just want to explain what is this term all about, metamorphosis. Okay, it is a series of change that the animals undergoes to change from young one to an adult. All right, so series of changes. Yep, we are not just the animal is not just laying an egg and something is coming out of it. Just in the case of the hen, there is no metamorphosis is happening here, but here in this case entire changes, there are a lot many changes. Yes, so it is laying eggs, a worm kind of thing which we call them as a caterpillar, and and we were thinking it is another different species, but it's not like that. The caterpillar undergoes a change by eating the leaves, and then it forms as a pupa, and so many changes happens inside it, and then the butterfly is coming out. So these processes is called as metamorphosis. It's not only for the butterfly, and for many other organisms it will be the same. Now look at this beautiful picture. Now you might have understood how this butterfly comes out in flying colors, right? Now in detail I just want to explain what exactly happens in the process of metamorphosis. Okay, from the egg till the butterfly comes out. So this is how, or this is what comes out from the egg. This called as a caterpillar. Okay, so this see this caterpillar how it looks like. So this caterpillar will feed on the leaves. Okay, in general they say it to be like mulberry leaves. All right, once they consume these leaves, what happens? They will just try to shred their skin, and the entire things will be covered like this, okay, which we call them as pupa. Okay, and here, see, this is an elaborative picture where they start the eggs which is laid, it will just be hatched as a caterpillar, and they slowly feed on these leaves, and then the pupa is formed, and the changes will happen inside this pupa, and the insect is formed out of it. Once the entire process is over, okay, it will just shred the skin, okay, and this process we call them as molting. All right, we call them as molting. And here, what comes out of it? We can see a beautiful butterfly comes out of it. So when it comes out of this particular process, it is really a very hard process for that particular insect. Okay, so when it happens, all the body organs will get little bit strong, fighting against all these thin materials to come out. Okay, so this is how they have the strongest wings, legs, and everything for them to survive until their life is completed. All right, so this is how the eggs turn into caterpillar, and from caterpillar to pupa, and from the pupa the butterflies come out. Okay, and the process of shedding the skin is called as like molting. All right, and even in reptiles we have learned about the same term in the previous lesson, right? They also shed their skin and the new one is formed. In that process, anything that is shedding the skin is called as molting. Okay. Now, coming on to the next one, where we're going to discuss about the life cycle of frog. Okay, so look at this beautiful picture with lot many stages, the different processes we can see, just like we have seen in butterfly. So this is a adult frog, a male frog, which is capable of producing eggs right now. Okay, so in every category we have male and female category. Okay, the female helps in process of reproducing by carrying the eggs or the younger ones. This is an entire process of reproduction, basic process of reproduction. Okay, so definitely every process of reproduction involves a female and a male. Okay, but the process of fertilization, it might be internal or external, and you will learn about it in your higher classes as well. Already in frog, we just learn it to be as an external reproduction where where it lay the eggs in water. Okay, during rainy season you can hear the croaking sound of the frog, and another time you can just identify that the frog is ready to lay the eggs. Okay, it is a process of fertilization which will happen at that particular time. So when the frog lays the eggs, you can see tiny embryos will be formed inside. In the previous picture I told you, right, the amphibians, I was just giving out you a picture which was so very beautiful. Yes, and that is the tiny embryo inside the egg. So whenever it is not hatched out of it, we call them as embryo when it is inside the egg. All right, inside the process. And then once it is hatched, it comes out into a tiny fish-like structure, not exactly like a frog, right? But in humans, the baby just look like a human. Yes, but everything is tiny in structure, but all the organs are the same. Exactly. Yes or no? Do we look different? Only like a stick we are born? No. All the features, the hand, two eyes, nose, mouth, hair, everything is present, and it is tiny. And then as we grow, everything gets matured. This is the difference. But here in case of like butterfly and frog, see, entire thing it's differing when it's hatching out of the egg. Yes, and this stage is called as tadpole. Okay, sometimes we might also see in the water, we can see like tiny fishes just moving here and around, but actually that is not fishes, it is the tadpole. Okay, the young frog. And here like tadpole, it is getting into the next development stage where it produces two legs. Okay, like four limbs are produced. All right, and then the tadpole with four legs are produced, limbs we call, like four limbs, hind limbs, front, back, four limbs, hind limbs, but still the tail is over here. So it is in the category of tadpole. There are different stages of tadpole. Here it is discussed three in numbers. The tiny one, once has been hatched, all right, and then with the two legs, the forearms, and then here with the hind arm as well. All right, and until it has a still kind of structure, it will not be able to survive on the land like a frog. The frog can live in water as well as in the land, and that is the reason we have just learned it is an amphibian. Yes, we have learnt about it. A female frog lays eggs in the ponds in clusters, and it is called as ponds. So this kind of category where it lays eggs much in numbers, not a one egg, just like a hen. A hen also lays eggs at times more in numbers. We cannot call them as clusters, but here it is like just more in numbers. We cannot just identify how many it is, so we call them as ponds. Okay. Tadpoles look like the fish and breathe through the gills. So here the breathing process is discussed. So the frog, it has two types of breathing process. In previous lesson we discussed amphibians. When it is inside the water, it breathes with the help of the skin. When it is out, it breathes with the help of the lungs. But here the tadpole doesn't have lungs until it is get matured as a frog. Okay, so the tadpole cannot survive outside the water. Only inside the water all the changes will happen, and once it has developed as a matured frog, only then it comes out of the water for its survival purpose. Okay. So here I would like to discuss about the life cycle of frog with few more pictures. So we have just discussed about like a image of it, like a cartoonic pictures away. Yes. So here I just want to share a few pictures which I have collected here. See the real frog, the picture of the real frog, and see it is in clusters. Can you identify why it is said as spawns? See how cluster it is. It looks like this. And then the embryo which hatches out of that, we call them as tadpoles. See, it looks like a tiny fishes. Sometimes we also think that it is fishes, but it's not. And then it is little bit matured with the arms, and then the final stage it is frog. Like simple pictures have been attached over here. Okay, and here look at this picture, how it just shows with the differentiation, what and all happens on the land, and then what and all happens inside the water. So with the help of the water on in the water only, it will just lay the egg. So the egg is developed into a tiny embryo which then comes out as a tadpole, and it undergoes further development, okay, forming the legs and other categories, okay, like spinal cord, like because it's a vertebrate. Yes. So and then until it has a tiny tail, it cannot get out of the water, and once it is completely matured, a small tiny things alone will be protruded, but it's not a tail, and we call them as like a tadpole frog once it is out of the land, and then it gets matured to form a adult frog. Okay. Now the next category we're gonna discuss about animals that give birth to babies. Animals that which give birth to young ones and feed them with their milk are called as mammals. So this term is also familiar for you right now, right? In the previous lesson in classification, we did see about like characteristics. We did see about mammals and what are the specific characteristics. Yes. So just have a recap of everything and bring everything into your mind. All right, what the mammals are all about. They give birth to the young ones and feed them with their milk. Okay. So here I have included some pictures of it, okay, as examples given. I have first example which I have given is the human being. Okay, we human beings give birth to younger ones and they feed on mother's milk. And then see this, it is a polar bear. These are all like mammals category where they give birth and then take care of their younger ones. Lion with its cub, tiger. And here see it's a rhino. The rhino, the tiny one, the baby, it is feeding on the mother for its milk. Okay, and even here, so this is how the process happens. Even for elephant, see the calf is here. So for every matured one, they reproduce by giving birth to their younger ones, and they feed their younger one with their milk. Okay, so these categories of animals are called as mammals. Got it? And once they grow, what happens? They will grow and they will go on with their independent category. Until they grow, they are dependent on their parent even now. Yes, and you should be around like age of 9 approximately, I believe. Yes, so like grade 4. So for past 8 to 9 years, how you are taken care? Just like that you're growing automatically? Never. So your parents are taking care of you. They know what has to be done for you, what food has to be given for you, what clothes has to be taken for you. Yes, everything are monitored by your parents, and they help you in the growth and development process. Just like the same even for the animals, but only in certain cases it differs in terms of analysis. All right. Now, once after the baby is born, what is the basic thing that has to be done? Taking care of young ones. That is what I discussed in the previous slide too. So the babies of all animals need food, shelter, protection from enemies. Yes. So here we as a human we have a home. Yes, a house. So we all have parents as well as elders like grandparents and many others to support. But in case of like animals, okay, the mother and the father will take care of that particular animal. Mostly like mother. The younger ones are dependent only on the mother. Parents take care of their younger ones. Okay, so to be very specific, when any tiny creatures are born out of it has to be taken care by the parents. So here the first one I have just given a picture of a bird. See how it looks like a matured bird. It is entirely green in color like a parent, and the younger one, see how it looks like everything has to be matured. With this stage it cannot do anything because the other creatures will come and pick these birds for their food. Yes, like carnivores, we have learnt about it. They feed on the flesh of the other animals, and these tiny things, yes, it is very tasty for them to have, and that is how they will think. They will just they will just take it and they will move on. That's it. See here how this bird is taking care of its younger one. It will just go in search of food. It will bring the food and it will feed the younger ones with the help of its mouth. See how the younger ones are just sitting and opening the mouth so wide. It's so beautiful to see it, right? So here this is how they will open their mouth, and the mature bird, the adult bird, actually it will just drop the food inside. So this is how the birds take care of their younger ones until it gets matured and until everything feathers, everything is developed, and once it is get to go with your feathers to fly on, it will be taken care by the parents. And even here I have included an animal. See here, a deer. Okay, so it just feeds on its mother for milk. So this is how the younger ones are taken care by the parents, and this is a category of the mammals, characteristics of the mammals as well. All right. Now let us have a short recap of whatever we have learned in this lesson. Okay, as I introduced the things to learn, everything we have covered up here. So initially we did discuss about the types of reproduction. One, it is by laying eggs, and the other one by giving birth to the younger ones. And then we discussed about the animals that lays eggs, different categories like birds, reptiles, amphibians. Yes, all these categories we did look about that they lay eggs. And then we discussed about the structure of an egg. Three major categories like eggshell, yolk, and albumin. We discussed about it. Albumin is rich in protein. Yolk, they are rich in vitamins, fats, and many other minerals. And then the eggshell, it contains high calcium in it. Next, we also discussed about the life cycle of a chicken, nothing but hen, how it lays eggs and how the process happens inside the egg and how it is hatched out as a chick. And then the process of life cycle of butterfly metamorphosis process happens here, where it lays the eggs and a caterpillar is formed, and from the caterpillar it turns as a pupa, and many further chemical changes inside converts it to be a beautiful butterfly. Changes are called as metamorphosis. The same thing happens even with the frog as well. It lays the eggs and the tiny embryo is formed inside the eggs. It just hatches out in the form of tadpole, and then it is inside the water where it breathes with the help of gills, and once it is matured as a frog, it can breathe either with the skin as well as with the lungs. Okay, and then we also discuss about the mammals, how they take care of the younger ones. And the category of mammals, they give birth to the young ones and they feed on their mother's milk. This is a different characteristics of the animals as well as the process of the reproduction involved in it. All right, hope you might have understood this lesson, and here if you have any doubts, please do contact me. All right, and I will just text you the content what has to be written and that has to be sent today. All right, so those who have got your classworks, please make sure that you write the lessons accordingly in the science 2 classwork. Check with the class teacher and then start with the notes. All right, so please don't hold on it and make it very neat with a neat presentation, and you have to write it in pen. Okay, and do not use ball pen, use ink pen. Clear? And I will send you what are the diagram that has to be drawn in the book for today's work. All right, and take care of yourself, children. If you have any doubts, please to contact me. Thank you.